Tech vibe here, where we keep our eyes on the next big moves in technology, no hype, only insight. Today, we're diving into what might be the next Mac Mini, when it could arrive, what kind of upgrades to expect, and whether it's a device worth waiting for. Imagine a Mac Mini that's not just another refresh, but a leap, one that pushes performance, connectivity, and versatility without losing the compact footprint we've come to love. That's what's rumored for the next-gen Mac Mini, and in this video we'll unpack what might separate it from its predecessors. Let's talk timing first. The current Mac Mini revision is relatively fresh, so many expect Apple might wait until early to mid-2026 for the next update. Some industry whispers still point toward a late 2025 reveal, but delays or strategic shifts could push things into 2026. Internal test units and model codes are already being discussed among supply chain analysts. So for now, plan on Apple teasing the new Mini in late 2025, with shipments possibly in the first half of 2026. Here's a hook. What if Apple used the Mac Mini to soft launch its more powerful chips before they arrive in Macs? This compact box could be a proving ground for high-performance silicon in a small form factor. One of the biggest expectations is the move to an M5 chip family. The base Mac Mini could get an M5 or M5 base, while a higher-end version might sport M5 Pro or M5 Max variants. That means more CPU cores, better GPU throughput, and a bigger performance uplift over the current models. In practical terms, that could translate to much faster compile times, heavier rendering, smoother multitasking, and better video workflows. And if the GPU side sees a real boost, creative professionals might lean more on the Mac Mini for visual workloads. Memory and storage are likely to see improvements too. The base model might bump from 8 GB unified memory to 12 GB or 16 GB, while higher tiers could support 32 or 64 GB. Faster SSDs, perhaps with improved PCIe 5 lanes, are also possible, reducing app load times, file transfers, and scratch workspace lag. If Apple opens up upgrade options internally, for SSD or memory, that would be a welcome move for users wanting longevity. Connectivity is a key battleground for any modern desktop. Expect upgrades like Thunderbolt 5, faster I/O channels, improved USB standards, and potentially Wi-Fi 7. These changes would allow higher bandwidth external devices, faster networking, and smoother sharing or project workflows. Ethernet ports might support 10 gigabit as standard, and maybe even 20 gigabit in higher models. Cooling and thermal design will matter even more with higher performance chips in a small enclosure. Leaks suggest Apple may refine internal airflow paths, possibly adding more efficient heat sinks or hidden vents without changing the outer shell. The challenge is balancing silence, low fan noise, with sustained performance. If Apple can push the chip harder without throttling, that's a big win for the Mini's form factor. Design-wise, many analysts believe Apple will keep the same external look, the sleek, compact chassis we're used to maintain compatibility with stands, mounts, and workflows. But subtle internal tweaks are very plausible. Thinner walls, rearranged internal layout, or more efficient internals to free up space or reduce heat. The power adapter or cable might be rethought slightly as well. Software will need to leverage the new hardware. The next Mac Mini will most likely ship with a new macOS version optimized for M5 silicon. Improved AI or ML integration, background tasks, and resource optimization will be essential. Apple might push features that take advantage of the combined CPU/GPU/neural engine more aggressively on the Mini, making it more of a serious workstation option. Another hook, What if the Mac Mini becomes the go-to for developers, small studios, or even edge servers? With high performance in a compact, relatively affordable shell, it could blur lines between workstation and server for many pros. On the creative and professional side, potential enhancements include better external GPU support, if Apple still allows that, improved external display handling, multiple 6K per 8K displays, and optimized video and 3D pipelines. For content creators, faster export, rendering, and previewing will be critical. If Apple tunes Metal, Final Cut Pro, Logic Pro, and third-party creative apps to push the M5 hardware, the Mini might outpace more expensive machines in price-to-performance ratios. A big question is pricing and positioning. Apple could retain entry pricing for the base unit and push increased margins on mid- and high-tier models. Or they may adjust upwards slightly to absorb new component costs. Another possibility, Apple rewards early adopters by offering better spec limits, memory, SSD, at similar pricing, to encourage upgrades. Of course, there are risks. Packing much more power into a small box risks thermal throttling, noise, or structural compromises. The trade-off between performance and longevity is delicate. Also, Apple must ensure the Mac Mini doesn't overlap too heavily with MacBook Pro or Mac Studio offerings. Segment balance is essential. Finally, supply constraints, component costs, and roadmap shifts could delay or scale back features. If you currently own a Mac Mini, especially an M1, M2, or even the current model, should you upgrade or wait? If your workload is getting constrained, video editing, simulation, compiling, rendering, waiting might be smart. But if your current machine handles your tasks well, you may want to stay put until real reviews confirm gains. What's compelling is not just raw specs, but what those specs unlock in workflow fluidity, creative responsiveness, and long-term headroom. A Mini that keeps up without compromise can be transformative for many users who don't want bulk but demand power. Thanks for hanging until the end. If you found this breakdown useful, hit like and subscribe. Tech Vibe is where we bring you unfiltered, real analysis on what's coming next. Drop a comment. Which rumored upgrade are you most excited for in the next Mac Mini? Until next time, stay sharp, stay curious, and catch the next wave of tech with Tech Vibe.